All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is December 7th. I believe it is Wednesday, December 7th, 2011. I am going to go over the trades we took in the morning session, the trades we didn't take, the trades that set up, why we took them, why we didn't take them, all that stuff. Let me start out with the results from the morning. I meant to I meant to restart or log off and log back onto my DT Pro. I hadn't done it since yesterday. I haven't logged off since yesterday, and so I got 24 ticks in yesterday's trading session for the ES. We didn't get any today. We got break even. All right, so let me start right out here. Now right at 9:30 here we started moving down. The market started moving down. We had this little space right in here. This didn't go 3 ticks outside the box, so there was no George trade. So the second pullback was not a George trade. So we needed the BBC to get outside the box. By the time it got outside the box, we weren't going to trade it into a weekly trading zone, so we needed to get through the zone. We finally did get through the zone down here, and we had a fresh bubble. So, and we had a fresh bubble. So we took the short here. We shorted at 48, I believe, and we were looking for it to get down to 46. Yeah, we were looking for it to get down there to 46. We might have shorted at 48 quarter. I don't remember which one exactly, but we shorted there, and we were looking for it to get down 2 points. It got about 1.5 points, I think maybe even 1.75 points, and we moved our stop to break even. Once we moved our stop to break even, the price dropped down even farther. I'm sorry, the price retraced. I just got a text. Sorry. Price retraced and it took us out at break even. So we had no gain on this trade. All right. We could have taken 1 point profit in here. As a matter of fact, I attempted to, but I was too slow moving my stop up to the plus 1 point mark. So we got no trade here. No gain here. All right. The thing that was distracting me was I put this down here. This is the elbow. I'm just going to show it to people, and I'll do it in the recording here. This is the elbow. It's the same as the elbow that's up here. It just doesn't have anything on it. When I say outside the box, I mean below this dotted line or above this dotted line. Okay, that means outside the box. When price is in here or the BBC is in the box, when either price or the BBC is in the box, this is the space that I'm talking about. Okay, the elbow, it shows when the market is likely to reverse and change directions. Okay, and you can see like right here when it broke down, it moved down. That's what the elbow is for. All right, I just wanted to point that out. I had put it down here earlier today to illustrate what it was used for. But now you know. And now it's recorded for eternity. All right, so as we move forward here, we're bumping up against this weekly trading zone, so we weren't taking any trades at all on the long side in any time frame. All right, so we just watched this thing move along and move along. And down here, we were trying to get this trade right here. It almost filled us. I even had an MIT order on. My MIT order was on here at 46.5. Right here, it was on at 46.50. And price pulled up to 46.25. And it wasn't until this bar finished painting and this one triggered that it moved down below 46.50, where I would have moved my order down below 46.50. And by that time it had already dropped a point, so I couldn't get into it. It did go the full 2 points from where the entry would have been, and then it pulled back up. Now when it pulled back up over here, we were going short, not based on this, because we didn't meet the criteria here. We needed a fresh bubble over here. We needed to have a fresh bubble, all right? Actually, I guess this was the first pullback, so we could have actually shorted right here because it didn't pull back far enough here. We could have shorted right here. But we were already short from over here on the 2100 tick. And I'll scroll back to that. All right, the BBC here, the BBC on the 10K, and the BBC here on the 4-tick range were all within a point at the time. So we shorted it here from the 2100 tick on the move down below the 50. The cycle was in favor of the trade. We had a bearish piercing of the envelope down here. The red envelope got pierced by the green trend strength line, suggesting we're going to move 3 to 5 points down. We had already moved the 3, but we were looking for the 5. As it was, we entered again over here, which would have worked out to being about right here on this chart. Again, that price moved about 6 ticks, or that trade moved about 6 ticks in our favor, and we moved our stop up to break even. It actually moved pretty quickly in our favor, and we moved our stop up to break even. Once again, it put in a higher bottom. Right here you can see I drew a trend line up them, and it reversed again. Right there, that was 2 times this morning that it reversed like that on us. All right, and from then we didn't have any more trades this morning on the ES. Okay, there was one right here during the break. This is the one that I was talking about. I mentioned the entry would have been 52 and 3/4. Looking for it to get to 54 and 3/4. It got up to 55. So that one would have gone the full 2 points, just to the tick though. So there hasn't been a lot of follow through in the market yet this morning. Okay, over here on the 2100, there were other opportunities right here, but I didn't take this because it was going into the zone. All right, we had a higher swing. If we didn't have the zones here, we would have been able to go long again right there. We would have been able to go long again right here. Not so much here because the cycle's pointed down right now. But there were a couple of opportunities in there on the 2100 tick if we didn't have the weekly trading zone right up above us. I don't trade into zones, but you can see the same thing was setting up here on the 10K. Okay, that was the ES this morning. We had an opportunity to take 2 points, but it was 1 point at a time, unfortunately. The YM, on the other hand, we didn't take the trades on the YM because they were all bumping right into the zone. Well, most of the time. This one was bumping right into the zone, so we weren't going to go long when the ES was right below the zone. All right. We had the bullish cross, the pullback down to the BBC. Then we had a bearish cross with a pullback to the BBC. But with this huge momentum bar coming up here, I didn't want to go short right there. What time was that? That was at 10:31. I believe we were doing something over here on the ES at the time too. Then we had a bullish cross, meaning the MA1 crossed up above the BBC, and it pulled back down to the BBC. Right there would have been a good place to enter if we weren't right up against the zone here on the ES, and we were. Once again, we were right up against the weekly trading zone on the ES, so I didn't want to take any long trades anywhere at that point. Okay. And that was pretty much our morning. That was it. There wasn't, as I said, there wasn't much to talk about. But hopefully, if you go back and listen to this again, and you weren't sure about any of the little nuances or any of the criteria to get you into a trade, I may have mentioned some in here that make sense to you. All right. All that said, we ended the morning break even.